Hey, don't forget, it ain't the first 48, it's 60 minutes.
Cover the K, best not best. Even the score now, we need to score now. Back on that wall, when you hear that call, you know it's going down. We play from beginning to ending, you know how we finish. Turn to the bank, gotta handle our business. We need the ball, so it's time to go get it. Play with your heart when you hit, make it feel it. You know I'm with. You come to the bank and get out of line, we sending a blitz. Say who you with? You know I'm with. That purple and black, and when we attack, you know what it is.
You're now locked into Zone 32.
Ah, shit, here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Zone 32 podcast. We got the crew in the night. My name is Jake. His name is Drew. His name is Will. His name is BT. Trippy will eventually be back on. And his name is motherfucking Grant. Say what's up to the people.
Fuck you.
Fuck the people.
There you go, you fucking rat bastards. But anyway, let's get into it. So, seems like with every episode that comes out, we have a new Ravens transaction to discuss because as of a couple days ago and as of today, officially, the Ravens have signed Chidobe Awuzie to, I believe, a one-year deal. Didn't see the monetary value for the contract, but he's a Raven. So there's that. You have a new vet. You have a vet to add to that room, offset Brandon Stevens' loss. I don't think that would deter them from addressing corner in the draft, but who am I? So let's talk to the man with the newfound power. Drew, what say you? Give me your thoughts on the low-cost, high-reward move.
Or
not!
Yeah, nope. Your sound's messed up again.
Fucking idiot.
This is why.
That's what you get, you fuck!
You cannot speak. Your mic is not connected as for your stuff.
Well,
You're a moron.
let's pivot. Will, what are your thoughts on signing the former Bengal / Titan / Cowboy?
I honestly, I was kind of hoping that we would. I didn't think we'd sign him at this point. I thought he might come a little bit later in the offseason, but I was hoping he would stay available because he has played in the division. He's played well in the division. He's been hurt, so hopefully you're back. The injury stuff is beyond him. We're not gonna be leaning on him to take every snap at cornerback, but he's very solid veteran cornerback depth, assuming he's available. And I think he complements Marlon and Wiggins really well. I think we'll still sign maybe another vet. I think Trey White could come back. I think he could be a solid addition to that room. And then they'll probably draft someone in the first 3 rounds that could play cornerback too, I think.
No.
I think they will, but because they rely so heavily on the secondary, and secondary depth is always an issue. You always have guys going down. So I don't think they'll go first round, but I do think we may see day 2 cornerback pick. So, but I like the move. I think it's a solid move. I don't know, and it's a veteran minimum contract, so there's no real
that's the key is that it didn't cost any money. It was whatever it is, like $1.75 million against the cap.
I think it's less than that. I think it's like 1.1 against the cap. It's I think whatever he gets paid, the veteran minimum, there's a gap between what he actually gets paid and what
shows up on the cap. Yeah, he's getting like
1.05 or something like that. It's a very small amount of cap allocation.
Yeah, the Titans still owe him money, so he wasn't looking for some big payday. He's a solid corner when he plays. He's missed half the year in like 3 out of the last 5 seasons, but it's been an every other year kind of thing. So last year he missed 9 games. So this year, hopefully he's healthy the whole season. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly care either way about signing. Like, not in a bad way. Like, it was just we needed a veteran corner because I don't think that you want to be forced to take a corner early this year. I think the Ravens are going to use every draft pick that they have, and they're going to use it on whoever the best guy available is at that point. So you don't want to have to be married to the idea of taking a corner in the first 3 rounds if there's not a corner there that you want to take with that pick. So you have a solid veteran guy there that can play opposite of Marlon and Wiggins, and anybody's an upgrade to Brandon Stevens. So
yeah,
I'm fine with the signing. typical internet fashion. Half people were pissed off about it, and half people were acting like he was like the greatest player of all time that we signed.
Yeah, both of those reactions are stupid. I don't get having a reaction to this. Having any emotion involved in your reaction to this move is stupid. It's veteran cornerback depth. We know what he's capable of. We just don't know if he's going to stay healthy. That's really the only question about it. Otherwise, it's a great move. And
Oh shit, we got a new addition, Paul Blart Malkoff.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I saw the mustache pop up off stage, so I figured I would add him.
yeah, so it costs as little as it could possibly cost. It addresses an obvious need that we have, and there's no reason to be mad about it. So hopefully Yuri is mad about it, and we can make fun of it.
What are we mad about today?
The Chidobe
Awuzie.
Awuzie.
No, not really.
Yeah, it's just whatever, right?
I mean, like they needed an outside corner body flat out. Like Tampa is like a projected safety slot. He played mostly outside corner, but with the athleticism, you're like kind of projecting a little bit to play inside. And then Armour Davis is what it is. He's massive question mark. Hasn't taken many snaps in NFL games. And then you have Wiggins, and that's like your main guy at this point. So it was a good signing. I was very behind it. He's getting paid $7.5 million by the Titans to play for us this year. So it's a vet min deal, and it doesn't stop them from getting a cornerback early if they wanted to. And I'm all for it. I don't know if there's anyone out there mad that I've seen outside of the people who are like, oh, this is EDC, like typical wheeling and dealing, but like it's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what the Ravens do, there's going to be like 20 to 30 people that are just mad at it. Like it's just what happens on the internet at this point. I don't really understand them. They're just constantly mad online. It seems to be like their favorite thing to do is to bitch and moan about everything we do. But yeah, I don't hate the signing. I don't love the signing. It's just like it is what it is. It's a veteran depth guy at worst. And
if you look at the list, if you looked at the list of veteran depth corners that were available, he would have been one of the guys you named as okay, sure, I'm fine with us signing.
Yeah, like I don't think he has the upside of like a Gilmore type guy that you can go sign, but who cares? I'm sure
Gilmore's probably not signing for Gilmore's not signing for veteran minimum. So like the value proposition here is exactly what we need. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so definitely not mad at it. I'm sure Grant was upset by it, but that's just.
Why would I be upset by it? No, actually, I thought it was a good move. I thought I like the value. I like the fit schematically. His ability that he's an outside guy predominantly on the left side, but I mean, he's versatile to, the slot too. I mean, I just think that I think for this, the experience, the biggest issue is he going to be on the field? And, when you're thinking about that for a guy, you're thinking low risk, high reward, and you look at the contract that he got with the vet minimum deal. And then, like Yuri said, the Titans being responsible for the majority of the reign of this contract, like that's a solid move. Like that's a great move right now. And it's not that you don't have to wait till post June 1st. I mean, somebody can swoop in and get somebody like him because like the available veterans that are on the market right now, there's only a handful that would fit schematically. And I mean, he was one of probably the top guys that would fit right into this Baltimore defense and be able to contribute. And you don't have to expect a lot from him because it's not a high loss.
Right, and my question is that next year we've seen the Ravens run a lot of balanced coverages, but I've always wanted them to lean more into the zone style of defense, which Awuzie does fit. Humphrey can do it, Wiggins can do it, Hamilton can do it, Washington can do it, and I'm very curious to see how it plays out over the next couple of months, whether they add more zone defensive backs to the room. Or if they're like, you know what, we're gonna still stick to the multiple. We're still gonna be they're around like the average in the NFL in terms of man and zone splits. But I do that is my biggest question with Awuzie. Is like he's mostly a zone corner, and I am curious whether they put him in situationally on like third and long, second and long type of plays, or do they lean more heavily into a zone concept of defense? Because let's be honest, right? Zach Gore's defense was very vanilla last year. Not a lot of exotic blitzes, not a lot of craziness going on in the back end, which is fair because that back end was getting fucking torched for the first 10 weeks.
Because he was trying to be too cute with
he
guys.
He was, no
Well,
doubt.
he started to dial it up
he-
late.
Yeah, I was going to say, after they benched Williams, they got a little bit more creative defensively.
Yeah,
Because they
I
could trust the back end.
Yeah,
Well, and
I mean, that was
too,
really
like,
that.
I think the thing with Awuzie too, like Yuri said, he's more of his own style, and like I had this concept of like the way that the NFL offense is evolving in a sense of it's a lot of flood concepts and a lot of like mesh concepts, and the way that they want to get the ball to playmakers and then work vertical. A guy like not having like 2-man corners or not having 2 zone corners, but the flexibility within a defense, you can run some 6s, some inverted 3s, you can run different variations of 2s, you can man 2-man under, like whatever, but you don't need 2-man corners. Like I think the fluidity of the NFL, especially with the way the Ravens defense is going with a more predominant like heavy safety look, you're trying to outnumber defensive back wise. So if you want to be able to do that, you want guys that can drop halves and drop quarters and drop thirds and drop zones. But like zone corners know spacing and know that better than a lot of man guys who are more physical at the line of scrimmage. I think it's good to mix up having man guys and zone guys. And I think that's something healthy that you can either field the boundary at, however you prefer to play your defense, where you want to send your pressures. That's the side that you would boundary or field the zone versus the man corner.
Right. Well, the nice thing about Awuzie is that he can play the run. He had an 80 PFF run defense grade. Anything I've looked through, he's very active in the run game, and you need that. You need that in the AFC. You need that in the AFC North in particular. And so that allows you to put another defensive back on the field if you trust him in run defense. And to your point, get into dime, get in the big nickel, get more corners out there, more defensive backs. And it may alleviate the issue we could potentially have with if they don't get a safety early in this draft that they feel comfortable with starting. So, yeah.
Well, like you said, too, the TJ Tampa fluidity. I mean, like if they don't, and like you said, BPA is like, it is a huge possibility, and I'm completely okay with that because of what I think we are right now as a team and the way the draft's going to essentially fall. But like you said, TJ Tampa, having the ability to kind of flex out to a safety. I mean, and he could honestly play free or strong. He could, and I'm with you. I don't really like him in almost like a slot role. I think he needs to be physical and have space. And, having that fluidity, if we don't hit a safety early or we don't hit a corner early, like I think he's a guy that you could either flip either or on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're giving Zach Orr more options, which is never bad.
Yep.
No, I mean, he's a cerebral defensive coordinator. Like the same shit that was being said early on about him was the same shit that was being said about Mike Mack. And then when Mike Mack left, it was, hell was freezing over. And, Zach Orr, if you notice, like towards the end.
Grant, who was the person saying the most negative stuff about Mike McDonald and Zach Orr early on this podcast?
Well, I said about Mike.
Did you have a mirror? Because I was going to say it was you for both guys. So you were part of the problem, not part of the solution.
No, I wasn't part of the problem.
Yeah.
Grant, is there a monitor behind you? Is there someone behind you like who's going to?
Yeah,
it's my kid's fat head. It's a fat head.
It does.
I thought it was like a person like looming over you.
No, I saw it.
Yeah, no, but he did. I mean, he dialed it up late, and you started to see where he was doing with his pressures, but it was just more or less get a feel. And I'm not a DPS guy, and I think that stunted him more than anything. And I don't know what the aspect that they brought him in or what he contributed or anything. I wasn't in the rooms, but whatever happened, Zach Orr either said, "Fuck you, I'm doing this on my own," or Dean Pease came up with some miraculous thing like.
Devil's advocate, if you don't bring in Dean Pease, I think Marcus Williams starts all year. I think Dean Pease was the one who came in and said, "Yeah, Zach's not nuts. This guy fucking sucks, John."
You think he was being too friendly? You think he just was like?
Yeah, I think that they brought in Dean Pease because Zach Orr didn't know how to handle the personnel, like the egos and the things like that. And
I'm with you. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I personally think Zach Orr was like struggling. He really was struggling.
Yeah.
Like he needed Dean Pease, in my opinion. Like he
needed somebody with coaching experience, and I think Dean Pease was the only guy out there that had not only defensive coordinator experience but also Harbaugh experience, so that it just kind of worked for what Zach Orr needed. I think in a perfect world they would have realized that Zach Orr was probably in over his head and hired a more like a veteran assistant for him. But it was when did we bring in Dean Pease? Like week 8, week 9, something like that. It pretty late. So there's not a lot of guys floating out there like that. So I think
he put out the fire in a sense, like the defense fire was put out, and then hopefully my hope is that Pagano can provide a similar role in that sense of having the defensive backs have a better idea of responsibility. Because let's be honest, we saw a lot of plays during this past season where like Williams is going to different assignments. Cornerbacks are bailing, and they're just teams are thrown over the top of us for those first 10 weeks. So I'm hoping that Pagano can provide that kind of like similar, like, hey, like let's get some stability, and then once you get the stability working in the defensive back room, that's when you can layer in the blitzes.
Yeah,
Pagano being I'm a big
on the
fan.
DBs. The fact that he's just dedicated to the defensive backs tells you a lot about what the assessment was internally about where. And I think it's pretty obvious. It was pretty much obvious to everybody that the safeties were the issue. But just getting the secondary in order and starting the year, on track, not allowing some crazy 10-week run of horrific.
Not getting torched every other week.
That was fucking garbage, like straight up. Like that was.
Yeah,
it was unbelievably bad. Yeah. Meanwhile, it was the best run defense in the league. It was crazy. We were just wasting.
It was.
Well, we were the best run defense in the league because we couldn't stop the fucking pass to save our lives. Nobody would.
Yeah, no one wanted to pass on us, and also
they'd get stuffed twice, and then they'd be like, "Oh, fuck it, we can just huck it deep, and Marcus Williams isn't going to make the play."
Yeah, but then when we did fix the secondary, the run defense still stood up. So it's just it's a good run defense. So you're wasting it if your secondary can't stop shit. So they're getting out ahead of it by bringing Pagano in on top of keeping Pease in the building. So Zach Orr has all the support he needs.
And Chuck Smith is still around, so you've still got the pass rush guy. So, I mean, now they have sort of specialists at every level. So,
and you can't really blame Orr for that. I mean, he's so young and brand new to the job. And so
I don't think they planned on having him be the defensive coordinator last year. Like, I think that situation kind of –
right.
So, I don't want to say snuck up on them, but I don't think they expected Mike to get a head coaching job like that quick and to have him jump ship. And so they sort of were unprepared. And I think that they didn't want to lose Zach Orr, so that they kind of promoted him too quick. And it caused some problems.
They were admitting it was their fault, not Zach Orr's fault that was going on. So they were like, okay, what resource can we give him to help him, because we put him in this.
Well, you got to think about it too. When you bring Zach Orr in as a D coordinator, nobody really a whole lot of people don't know about him. I always call him nepotism hire or whatever. Like towards the end of his first season, he turned it on, and then his second season is when he like lit it up, and he was number one defense, all that stuff. So like when you're bringing him on straight from Michigan.
Oh, you mean Mike McDonald? I was like, you said Zach Orr. You said Zach Orr. I'm like, he just finished his first year. What the fuck are you
No, I mean Mike McDonald. Yeah, I mean Mike McDonald. But I don't think as the Ravens you expected like to move on that quick. If he wasn't such a hot commodity, I mean he was like the number one coaching or head coaching target like that quick out. So it's like you don't really expect that. It's hard to plan for that. And you don't really want to plan for that. Like you expect your guys to.
I mean, they literally sent him to Michigan to get him experience calling plays because they expected him to come back and be like a long-term fixture at defensive coordinator. Like John loaned him to Jim with the idea of, go to college, try your shit out, learn how to call plays, figure out how to deal with personnel, all that kind of stuff, and then come back and be my defensive coordinator. They pushed Wink out for Mike McDonald, and then, he just got a job way too quick afterwards. Like, he was too good at being a defensive coordinator.
Think about this. The Chiefs have had this prolonged period of dominance where they're in the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl every year, and they haven't had a single coach get poached the entire time.
Spags is fucking killing it the past 5 years.
They have not had one. They moved on from Bieniemy, but they haven't had a single coach get hired away from them.
And I would argue moving on
the Ravens,
from Bieniemy
we lose a coordinator every year, it feels like.
Well, I don't.
And assistants as well. We had 3 guys get hired last year, right?
I don't think Spags wants a head coaching job, and I think that helps. I think that Todd.
I think we have that now with Monken too. I think Monken is like the counterpart of Spags, where
because I feel like teams are calling Spags every offseason saying, "Hey, you want to come coach?" But he's kind of like, "Fuck off, no, I don't want to," which I don't blame him. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they've actually been bad when they have Matt Nagy as the offensive coordinator. That's when they don't win championships. So. I think it's probably a bad thing for the Chiefs that nobody's hiring Matt Nagy again. But he also
technically that's not true, Drew.
They're
Technically,
in
that's
the
not
Super
true.
Bowl every fucking year, and
They
they
won
don't.
two.
It's a continuity thing, just in the building, not having that.
They won 2 with Matt
threat.
Nagy. What are you, stoned?
I didn't
No,
say
wait,
that.
no, they won 1 with Matt Nagy.
Yeah, but he
okay.
wasn't the offensive coordinator. Bieniemy was. He was like
Bieniemy was gone at that point. Bieniemy
when?
was with the commies. 2023 when they beat the Niners
They
the
have
second time. Matt Nagy was the offense coordinator.
Nope.
Sam
didn't
Howell?
happen.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope. Making it up. You're 100% right, but I'm not going to give you that credit. You're right. That was the only time they've won with Nagy. So, my
Hey,
point
at least
stands.
you said I'm right.
Yeah, broken clock's right twice a day. So
That could be said about you.
no, I'm never wrong. There's a difference here, Jake.
That's fake. That's fake news. We have videographic evidence of all that. I just don't feel like doing the research.
I mean, AI and deepfakes exist, so I don't.
We got
I don't
Tez
totally-
Walker. That's right.
No, though.
Yeah, no,
Tez
no.
Walker sucks. Stop. Just stop. Don't do this.
He doesn't.
I'm gonna need you to
Grant-
stop that slander, Drew.
Grant, we gotta uprise this motherfucker. This is bullshit.
My problem with the Tez Walker shit is that, like, when people are, okay, we have Tez Walker, great. When they're like, oh, we shouldn't sign DeAndre Hopkins, and being serious about it because we have Tez Walker, I'm like, please go fuck yourself. Like, let's not do this again. This is James
There's no
Prochet,
excuse.
Tylan Wallace.
No,
Yeah, but that's
no. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Because
Tez Walker at least he did something with his very limited opportunities. The other guys
He
never
had
did shit.
He did score a touchdown.
Yeah, he had
How many
one target
targets?
for
How many targets did he get?
one.
For
Maybe
a
two.
touchdown.
He
This is what
made
we
the
do-
most of
this
that
is what
one
we do
target.
with- Drew, this is
Better
what me
than
and you
James
do with
Prochet.
Ojabo.
This is what
He's-
what about David Ojabo? Hold on.
This
what
is
did
what
you
me
say?
and you
He's
do with
not-
Ojabo. He's on a Hall of Fame pace.
What time?
he's not.
Oh.
He's not.
Montante's
you
in
can't
Montante's
compare
in
him.
hell right now.
You can't.
Poor
You can't
Montante.
compare.
Helps to be on
You
a
can't
helps to be
compare
on a
him.
Hall of Fame pace per snap when you're a healthy scratch for most of the year.
You can't compare him to Prochet and Wallace because he's a better athlete. None of those guys can jump 36 inches. None of those guys can run a 4.3 40. None of
I
those
don't
guys
want to go
can play
into a
outside
year-
the perimeter. And
I don't want to
that's-
go
that's
into
the
the
difference.
year. I don't want to go into the year expecting Tez Walker to be my wide receiver 3
I don't
when
either.
he's
He'll
so
be 4.
my
if he's
my-
4, he's gonna have a really good year.
right, and so that
Year
if
for wide
that's
receiver 4.
that's a minimal role to start off with, so you're not expecting a ton out of him, and he's also got room to grow. Like he'll get some targets, and maybe he can climb up the depth chart. But if he fucking sucks and can't climb up the depth chart, so what? No harm, no foul. You took a shot on a kid with great athleticism and great measurables, and maybe he turns into something, maybe he doesn't. My beef with people, Naldo says we got Tez Walker as a joke, but there are legitimately people who were, why are we looking at wide receivers? We have Tez Walker. He could be our wide receiver 3, which is fucking dumb.
Yeah, and that wasn't even me. And I'm a big
No.
Tez Walker fan.
Yeah. No, I mean, for the most part, other than your Charlie Kohler takes, I find most of your takes to be rational, Yuri. But that's, again, I'm irrational about David Ojabo, so it's fine. We all get one guy that we're allowed to be irrational about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a.
BT, what about Kolar, huh?
Listen, I'm not going to get into y'all's argument because at the end of the day, Drew
Montante, Justice Hill exists. I would like you to put some respect on his name with this. You need an elite pass catching back to spell Henry. Your team employs Brandon Stevens for $12 million a year as well.
Yeah, that's wild.
So that's just a horrible choice. Justin Fields, you have a running back playing quarterback. What else is wrong with the Jets? I mean,
here's the real question: what isn't wrong with the Jets?
Right, just an absolute. You had Fireman Ed for a while. It was just an absolute loser.
Yeah, hold up. Let's hear BT. BT, what do you guys say on Kolar?
I think Kohler is a damn good tight end, and but I'm not going to get into the conversation about the best wide receiver, even though he did switch from Bud Heavy to Bud Light.
That's fair.
But I'm not getting into this conversation because I know Drew will say some outlandish shit.
Are you saying Bateman's our best wide receiver? Is that what you're going for?
No, Zay Flowers, 100%.
Yeah. Well, what is the outlandish thing that I'll say? I'm not following what you're saying here.
I just
What is it, the outlandish thing you're gonna say?
Yeah. What specific outlandish thing would I say? I say so many of them that I'm not sure. Not sure where we're going there.
there's so many to pick from, and I don't want to get socially destroyed.
It's
across
11
social
o'clock on a
media.
Thursday. Who cares? Rip it.
Yeah.
What's the Kolar?
I mean, I yell at Grant once a week for like meaningless shit. You should have never let Duvernay leave me. Like, BT, you can't say things this dumb. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what you say, it won't be as bad as this comment that I just put on the screen. So, yeah, Duvernay with Chicago. You fucking go ahead, BT. Speak your truth so I can.
This is some of the outlandish shit that you're gonna say is stuff that will stay within NPM.
I mean, if you have some pro Bateman takes, feel free to fire them off. I'll be happy to dismantle them. You know, in short work. It's not hard to do.
No, I'm good.
Fair. Oh, did you want Hollywood Brown back? Is that what we're getting at here?
Oh fuck no.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what outlandish.
I don't know what you're talking about, BT.
Yeah. I'm actually now I'm curious. Now I need him to say it because I don't know which one of my takes here would be burying BT. I don't want an Ohio State guy. Is that what you're going after?
Maybe.
Michael Thomas. I mean, great possession guy. Better than whoever Will wanted last year. I don't remember. Russell Gage, I think, was Will's. So BT's trying to avoid another episode where Will and I look up random Pro Football Reference pages of like washed wide receivers and argue about who's better.
Exactly.
That is
exactly what I'm trying to
my
avoid.
choice actually got signed to at least to go to training camp last
We're
year.
not going through this conversation again.
Well, I mean, we're due for it at some point, BT. It's just it's inevitable.
It is inevitable, but I'm at least trying to hope it's going to be closer to training camp.
We don't need to we don't need to talk about signing veteran wide receivers at this point. We're good.
It's March. It's March 27th, and football won't be played till the first week of September. So sometime between now and then, Will and I will have an argument about something that doesn't matter.
Look at Eric Dobson. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, we'll have to have Montante on eventually. He has, because he's a degenerate gambler, he has, elite depth of knowledge of like random football players that we can put to the test here.
Hold on, I need to address something. The answer to this question is last year, me and Trippy were at a game. That guy patrols the area out above the visitors' bullpen, and Trippy put his drink on top of the bullpen on the little wooden roof of the bullpen, and you're not allowed to do that. And the guy came over and was a fucking asshole about it. And Trippy decided he would make suggestions to this man about how they should install cup holders. And the guy didn't appreciate that, and he kicked us out of the game.
Will's forgetting the part where he threw, full beer cans at several ushers.
No. That was after they told us we were leaving. They were walking us out.
I've heard multiple different people tell different stories here.
Camden Yards?
No.
Not yet.
Just that game.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm sure that's in the near future, but
no, I'm a Birdland member.
Yeah, Will's personal usher there was an interesting character, but was ready to toss me out of a game because Will said this guy's bothering me. And I looked at him and I was like, "The fuck? I didn't do anything."
Daniel's electric.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, electric might not be the word that I would use to describe him, but I don't know if I could use the word that I would use to describe him on a live recorded medium. So
nope.
Very fast. Enthusiastic. That's a good word. Flamboyant, maybe.
There are such things as electrical fires. So
yeah, he is definitely flaming. That's for sure. So yeah, we can
This is why you don't put the black wire and the white wire together.
He's a great usher. Adds to the experience. I appreciate Daniel a lot.
Yeah, real firecracker. Well, a whole lot of flames coming out over there. So I think I've made my point fairly clear on my thoughts on Daniel, but it was the cow ears too. That was just and the earrings. So it was just too much. I couldn't do it.
It's a lot.
I've only had good experiences.
The whole shebang.
The only negative usher I've ever run into is this guy who's out there in that area.
Now M&T Bank.
That's kind of a like he does have to keep track of people who are stopping and doing shit that they shouldn't do. But he was a prick to Trippy for no reason. There was like no one out there. It was a Wednesday night or something, and it was like the 8th inning of a game that wasn't close. So dude, fucking relax.
Nothing I said was a joke, Montante. I was just speaking in factual statements about him. So
I've only had good experiences at the yard, honestly, like plenty of games. But The bank, I've dealt with ushers like that. I've had an usher tell me to sit the fuck down during like a third down of like a game. We're up. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I feel like the ushers at M&T take their job too seriously.
They do. Yeah.
Depending on where you are, there are some of them that are kind of like they check your ticket every time you walk in. It's like, dude, relax. I've walked by you 30 times today. Like, let's not, be an asshole about this.
This is my third time walking by with a fucking Miller Lite. Just let me
Hey, man.
Yeah.
One of those temp hires is trying to get called back every single game, I guess.
Well, Chad Steele. The problem is Chad Steele. Let's be honest.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean,
he's
100%.
probably telling them before the game even starts. He's like, hey, look out for that Yuri Ravens guy. Let's get that guy. Let's get him out of here. We don't want him in.
Yeah,
I know
I think
that Yuri guy, he associates with Trippy. We can't be having these Trippy apostles.
Apostles.
Yeah, I saw a picture of Chad with Peyton Manning. I forgot that he worked for he was like Peyton Manning's personal guy before, and then it all made sense of why he is the way that he is.
Yeah,
just that the way that family operates. That's where he learned everything from. So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and look, you make one joke about Ben Cleveland doing cocaine, a party bus on the way to the NFL draft, and then you get the FBI on you, and then now he's doing DUI. So it's like.
Well, I mean, to be honest, if Ben Cleveland wasn't doing cocaine on a party bus on the way to draft, I don't know if I would have wanted him. I feel like that was the allure of Ben Cleveland, was that he was just a total, total whack job.
Yeah.
Yeah. If people forget that Marlon got arrested for a petty crime right before his All-Pro season. Right. So everything's setting up for, Ben Cleveland All-Pro 2025.
I agree. Once Falele's Ozempic kicks in and his feet.
Yeah, my biggest gripe with the Ravens this offseason so far has been lack of signings at the guard position, because I'm coming to the realization that they're happy with Daniel Falele.
Yeah,
and I don't really know why.
Tevin Jenkins for $3 million. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I would have done that. I would have done that in a fucking heartbeat.
And I don't love Jenkins as a player. I think he's hurt a lot. I think he's got some flaws in his game. But for that price, that would mean that you're at least trying to sign somebody who's gonna get into competition with Falele or push Falele. And so it just shows that that you weren't interested in somebody that cheap. You're okay with Daniel Falele being your day one starting right guard, which is a problem to me because he doesn't fit our scheme. And that's the biggest downside to him.
The only way this is not the case is if they have they're just locked in on Booker.
Right, but is Booker there?
I doubt it too. I doubt it too, but if that were the case, then I'm okay with them ignoring the offensive line so far.
I like the doomsday for me is that they're gonna roll with the two that we have, which is if Falele lost weight, that is the main problem. If he lost weight and gained more movement skills and got down to 335 or 340, which is a lot of weight, but
that's a lot. Yeah.
If he got down even 350, okay, I could see a scenario where it ends up working out, but that's a very slim chance. And I don't.
Well, because on top of you're saying he's losing a ridiculous amount of weight, also who's to say that comes with the ability to pull and move? So
right,
and you lose all that weight. Does he lose the ability to actually block guys? Does he lose strength at that point?
Well,
or functional strength?
The problem is he's not aggressive right now.
No,
he's not. He's just not. I don't know if someone needs to
We've already discussed this. Falele is not a guard. He is a tackle.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, and so guards are typically more maulers or more guys that are going to go seek contact. And Falele doesn't have. Falele has the kind of stay home and hold the pocket mentality that you expect out of a tackle. And so it's he doesn't fit.
And I'm not getting into O-line stuff, but
if you bring up that fucking midget, I'm gonna mute you.
No, shut up.
Okay. Bring up
the midget. I like Wyatt Millen.
Do not bring up the midget tonight.
From WVU in the second round. If Wyatt Millen's there in the second round, I think you got a guy who's predominantly a left tackle, but he can project inside the guard. He's athletic and he is a pissed off dude. He plays kind of like Quentin Nelson, where he's gonna play all the way through the whistle and anything.
Yeah, he's
a guy second round that
I like him
moving downfield and blocking guys way after the snap, which is
and his trap blocks, he knocks dudes in the next week on his trap blocks.
I know Cole Jackson has a lot of good things to say about him, so I'm sold on him.
I'm going to follow. 1 second. I'm going to follow Drew's push for this. Ben Cleveland is my starting right guard.
Yeah, I mean that's
We're
Let's
gonna have a
fucking go.
repeat of fucking last year. That's my worry. Is we're gonna have a repeat of last year where we're sitting here and we're like, it needs to be Voorhees and Cleveland a guard.
somebody
And
needs to
Why
go
did
to
I
John
see- I
Harbaugh's
saw-
house.
I saw projection with Cleveland at left guard.
that's
Yeah,
not gonna
he
happen.
sucks
He
at-
can't do it.
he
sucks at left guard.
Yeah, he's
No,
a right
he's
side.
he's right side.
He's too
But, like,
stupid to figure out how to
my
play left
thing-
guard. I don't know why.
Well,
I forget where I
thing
saw
is,
it, but I
like,
feel like
ass
it
with
was.
his
I
left
feel
hand.
like it was somewhere official, and I was confused by it that he was listed as the backup.
But
left
before
guard.
the shit that's happened this offseason, like my thing is like, and we talked about it like during the regular season, but like what the fuck happened to where like they just did not want to play him? Because like what I've seen in the year before that and like his limited snaps and stuff, I'm like, this dude is, I mean, top end pass grade, top end run grade. Like, what
So
are you
you're
doing?
gonna get mad if I say this, but it's like the only thing that makes sense to me is that Harbaugh cares about practice because he's a dork, and like that's the
Yeah.
only thing that he cares about. And Ben Cleveland strikes me as the kind of guy who just does not give a fuck about practice.
Yeah.
And so
He
there's
walks
gotta be some
like the Mucinex man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's not a practice guy. Like,
right, but so that's for whatever reason Harbaugh cares about practice and Ben Cleveland does not. And so they don't get along from that standpoint. So it's got to affect them, in terms of getting snaps. I don't agree with it. I don't understand it. I feel like, Allen Iverson kind of dismissed practice for professional sports as in general years ago, and that coaches should kind of get behind that line of thinking. But that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Either that or he went to John Harbaugh's house and like killed and ate his family dog or something, or like, I don't know, fucking slept with one of his daughters. Like, I have no idea why else you would have this vendetta against Cleveland. There's no reason he shouldn't be starting.
At some point, I want to have a conversation about the edge group, because I have a problem with Kyle Van Noy's tweets over the past couple of days about the edge group, about him saying, "Oh, we have no pass rush." First off, no one said the Ravens don't have a pass rush. Anyone
Well,
who said
they
that
do.
is just being
So-
over sarcastic.
Right, but so I agree with some of what Kyle Van Noy is saying, is that there is a lot of talent in that edge room, but there are a lot of sidekicks. They're not guys who are, your main pass rusher. It's a lot like if we had Myles Garrett and then Kyle Van Noy lined up opposite him, that would be fucking great. Kyle Van Noy is a great sidekick. Odafe Owe is a great sidekick. David Ajabo is on a Hall of Fame pace on a per snap basis. I think he's defensive player of the year. But whatever. Tavius Robinson, again, is a great role guy from what he's shown so far. Matabike is very good, but, once you double him, you kind of take away his effectiveness. They need a guy, and they don't really have that guy. And so from Kyle Van Noy's standpoint, like, he played very well last year, but he's not a primary pass rusher. And they also had a lot of coverage sacks last year. They had a lot of I forget what the stat was, like if they had like 3.5+ seconds on, 85% of their sacks or something like that.
They don't win quick at all. Like, it's not something, and that is my problem with his standpoint is first off, he made the tweet before the fucking Bills game, cashing a check, being like, the Ravens defense is so great, Mark Andrews is great, and then both of them shit themselves in the first, at each respective part of the game. So then that builds on top of the fact that the Ravens pass rush, like, if they were to go out here and either sign a vet or draft some guy in the first 3 rounds and call it a day, yeah, that's fine to me. Like, it is what it is at this point, because if you don't find someone to fall to you at 27 that is like worth the upside, like, I get it. Like, I'm not going to be sitting there and pissed off and mad, because it's hard to find. First off, they're going to draft a pass rusher. He gets like 5 sacks, and everyone's going to be like, I'm going to kill myself. Like, it is what it is.
Mhm.
Like, they're gonna end up either
sign Von
Miller.
Miller. Just sign Von Miller.
See, I don't want Von Miller. I don't
so-
think. I think Von Miller is more of what we have already, and so like, yeah, you can sign
Von Miller
somebody
finishes,
like that.
though. Von Miller finishes.
Von Miller finishes, but can Von Miller give you? What was that, Grant?
I was gonna say I would have liked Leonard Floyd. Like, that was like somebody that I kind of
Yeah.
Would have liked
Yeah,
to see
he's
us
younger.
sign.
He's got some, zip to him. If they pass on like a Mike Green or however the fuck you say the BC kid's name, Ezeraku, like I'll be fucking livid in the first round because I think those are two guys.
That man. That fucking dude. That dude's gonna be special. Like I'm
Yeah, I
telling you,
like
like I
him,
watched a lot of
and
his film. It's the way and we'll get into edges down the road, but like the way that he utilizes his momentum and his bend, his I mean,
He's a lot
pass
like
rush
Doomerville.
toolbox is fucking
he
yeah,
reminds
but
me
he's
a lot of
bigger. He's like
Doomerville.
He's like 6'3". Doomerville's like 5'11", but he's like 6'3". He's got
he's
like
6'1".
Dwight Freeney to him.
He's 6'1".
Yeah, Ezeraku's like 6'1". But if
No, I thought he
we
was like 6'3", but he plays
But
big.
I think Mike Green is a guy that has the alleged sexual assault shit, which might make him drop. And because Justin Tucker's still on I mean, if Mike Green said I didn't do it, so like if you want to buy that, then fine. I'm not going to argue it. I don't know what the fuck happened.
That was one of my favorite tweets. That was one of my favorite tweets of 2025.
Look at
somebody said
BT looks fucking asleep.
Yeah, it said like
Mike Green has been cleared of all charges per Mike Green was I think what the tweet said. And I'm like, but regardless, if you're going to keep Justin Tucker around, then you can't start, playing the game with Mike Green of we don't want to draft this guy because he's got this pass. So, Ravens have lost that excuse if they're going to keep Justin Tucker around. If they let him or Ezeraku go, like, I'll be pissed because I think those are guys that could step in and be immediate difference makers. To Yuri's point, if they're going to draft somebody other than those two, like it's going to be like a James Pierce or I don't know, like Scroton, the kid from A&M, I think is his last name.
No, we talked about. I don't like him a lot, Scroton.
But I'm saying like somebody like that who is more of a
like Scrotum.
Yeah,
Kennard. I mean, Kennard. We've talked about
or Kennard. Yeah,
is
another.
Kennard.
But like that's not a guy who's going to come in and make an immediate impact to me. So if you're drafting him in the third round or you sign a Von Miller, somebody like that, like fine, we can roll with this edge group. It's not the best in the league. They might put up, top 5 sack numbers, but they're probably going to lack in, I don't know if like meaningful sacks is the right word. They're not going to be able to get a ton of pressure on good quarterbacks or teams with, good offensive lines. So, our pass rush is okay right now. I just think that Kyle Van Noy should probably take a step back from the internet. And somebody got shit going on in the background.
Someone watching TV in the background?
Nope.
Grant?
Not me. I was about to tell you, I just looked up. He's 6'2.5", 250 per the combine. So I'm closer. So
it's Price is Right rules. Close without going over. You went over. Suck it.
Bullshit.
Anyways, the point I was making is that the Ravens don't have a pass rusher or a defensive lineman that will win within that like 2.5 second time frame. So that is my goal. Like I don't like someone like Lott, P-Blaze, Darius Alexander is another one that wins very quick. Izuriku from Boston College, we just talked about him.
What's the Old Miss kid's name? Walter something?
Walter Nolan. Yeah, I mean,
he's
another, but with him, it's hard because the Ravens are, I don't know. It's hard to tell where they are with the character issues thing. Do we not give a fuck anymore because the Tucker or do
you can't
bring the bad boys in. Fuck the choir boys.
If they start pulling this shit of we're not drafting this guy because of character red flags, like you can't do that. That is out the window as long as you employ Justin Tucker. If you cut Justin Tucker, I guess you can fall back to on that. But like as long as he is still on the roster, I don't want to hear a fucking word about character concerns unless the guy's like wanted for murder or something. Something's going to have him in prison within the next 3 months. Then yeah, fine, you can make that argument to me. But like. If you're going to keep Justin Tucker employed, I don't want to hear about character shit anymore.
Yeah. So anyways,
I don't know anything about this Walter Nolan guy, but he sounds like that's like an old man name, so I don't want him.
Well, his issue is like NIL related. Like he was like he wanted to get paid or something.
He basically isn't going back to school because they won't pay him. If I remember.
Yeah.
Correctly.
So anyways, the point I was making about Van Noy was that. He was trying to cash a check that didn't even show up in the mail yet. He was with the playoff game. Then everything went completely opposite of what he tweeted. The Ravens got dominated up front. They looked pretty fucking cowardly up front as a defensive front unit. And then he keeps tweeting these. And sure, hey, personal accolades. He's a great edge rusher, no doubt. Like sacks. He's got all the accolades you could want. But then for him to tweet the fact that he made this whole tweet about you don't know where we're being coached, how many chips do we get, how many max protections we get, blah 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 blah. Like that's just not true. It's just not. It's just like maybe not to the average fan, but to someone who invests their time in the Ravens. Like I've watched the Chuck Smith coaching pass rush like clinics. I've watched almost every snap you could watch of the Ravens defensive front from weeks 4 to 10, which you quoted. And like, yeah, there's times that they didn't get upfield because they played a little more mobile quarterbacks, but I don't understand why we're so concerned with narratives when he tried to start a narrative and then didn't back it up. Like that's what bothers me.
That's my beef with Van Noy is he's too online. So he's too bought into the narratives and too bought into shit that really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Yeah. Like, it's like, cool. You said that the Ravens have a good pass rush, and then I don't remember who he quote tweeted. Somebody put out the pass rush stats, and he's like, oh, yeah, look how great we were. Everybody says online we don't have pass rush. Like, who the fuck cares what Ravens fan 69-420 says, Kyle? Like, you're a professional athlete, and you really shouldn't fucking care about what people like us say. And so, like, ignore the narratives. Just fucking play football. I think that is my – when guys get too caught up in that shit, it gets kind of annoying. So I'm sort of with you on that. I also get that Kyle Van Noy is like a veteran leader and, likes to be positive and likes to try to hype up his own guys. And I don't really love that sometimes. And I wish some guys would log off the internet and just kind of focus on doing their job. But it is what it is. I think that just ignore the narratives and get to the fucking quarterback would be my, advice to people like him.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, if the tweet that he made a week before the game didn't come out, like I really wouldn't be that mad. But ever since that fucking tweet, I'm just like, all right, bro. Like I get it. We're fighting the narratives on Twitter, but we can't fight the narratives in the middle of the fucking game.
Right. Like he shouldn't be the one fighting the narrative, though. And that's something that like Hollywood Brown did a lot, and Rashad Bateman has done from time to time. And guys who do that kind of irritate me because you can't put shit out there and say, oh, I'm this, we're a great pass rush unit. I'm a great wide receiver. And then you get proven wrong on the national stage and then people shove it back in your face and then you get all emotional about it. Like, just don't put the tape out there in the first place. You know what I mean? Don't put the tweet out there in the first place. Nobody's going to fucking push it back in your face.
Yeah.
Anyways, do we want to move on to the BDSM list?
Yes, we do. So, Grant, this week you're doing tight ends. Is that correct?
Tight ends.
Let's do this shit.
All right. I'm not going to go too far in depth. 10, I got Aronde Gadsden from Syracuse, converted wide receiver.
You say Aronde Gadsden?
Yeah.
Jake's gonna have.
He's the son of the Dolphins receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think he is.
No shit, bloodline, man. That's how you know you're getting old. You remember their dad played.
So he's outside receiver type. He was a receiver, and he's going to be a converted tight end. So I think he gives a lot of flexibility in a high octane offense. He doesn't. He's got long arms, so he does block well, but that's not like a super strength of his. 9, I have Luke Lackey, Iowa. Big fan of his. I don't know. I think he's going to be a really underrated tight end. We know Iowa tight ends have a lot of pedigree to them. The way that he's a big physical guy, he works his body well. He's got like that kind of like dominance to him that where he's going to control. He knows how to. He almost boxes himself out like a basketball player, like a power forward. 8, Mitchell Evans, Notre Dame. Another big physical tight end. He uses his body well. I'd say he's an intermediate route technician. He knows how to get open. He knows that when plays are extended, he knows the soft spots to find. 7, Gunnar Helm, Texas. He's got better game speed than he does in his times. I think he's a yak guy. He gets involved in leaks and screens and things like that, and he knows what to do with it when he gets the ball in his hands. 6, Terrence Ferguson, Oregon. Another receiving type guy. He's a flex tight end. He's really more like an outside receiver that can play like a flex Y. So, I mean, he makes a lot of plays, gets open, creates a lot of mismatches, and he's a hands catcher. So, he catches the ball away from his body a lot, which I always like to see. 5, Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green. receiving playmaker. He's basically, I compare him a lot to Isaiah Likely, like the way he plays. Like he's a guy that he's not your traditional looking tight end, but he's a receiving threat. He can take a screen pass to the house. He has great ball carrier vision. He knows how to work different levels against the grain, against defensive players. 4, I have Elijah Arroyo from Miami. I put Swiss Army knife. He's a route runner. He's elite at winning in zones. Like he's a guy that, like, when he breaks off the line, he's got a good release package for a tight end. He can block. I mean, he's not a big guy, but he's good in the block game as well. And he'll finish through blocks. 3, Colston Loveland, Michigan.
What?
He's another one.
3.
Yeah.
3? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Shut up. He's a receiver. The reason is he's not a big blocker. He lines up. He's like a Darren Waller. Like he's
not a big blocker. Do you see the fucking offense they've run for the last 2 years? What does it matter with you?
Listen, it's not done yet. So he's a guy. He's more of a receiver. He's got great hands. He's got a good route runner, but he's a slot flex Y. He'll play on the outside as well, outside the numbers. He's not a guy like when I think of a tight end, I want somebody that can do a little bit of everything. He's got to be in the right offense for him to succeed. Like he's not a tight end that can be in any type of offense and be that flexible. Like he's got to be in the right offense to succeed.
This is one of your worst draft picks you've ever had.
Oh, shut up! Get your Michigan homer ass out of here.
I'm okay with you putting him for 2, but fucking 3 is nuts.
He's 3. He's 3. I got a guy I like better. Mason Taylor from LSU is my number 2.
This list is being made under protest. No.
So Mason Taylor, he runs a 4.6. He's huge. He's only 20, so that's a high upside. He's got a lot of development to go.
Here we go. Another.
He's an athlete. Russo. Shut up. He's got good inline skills and he's got good receiving skills. He's a guy that, like, when I watched him, like, he finishes through contact. Like, he doesn't look to avoid. He looks to create, and that tells me that he's going to be a willing blocker, and he is a willing blocker. I like the physicality of him, and he's a huge, intriguing weapon because he runs a lot of the tight end screens well as well. I mean, him Mason Taylor and Colston Loveland were like, it was hard for me to do 2 and 3, but I just like what Mason Taylor has to offer to multiple different offenses.
It shouldn't even been.
So it's like a 2A and 2B kind of thing.
One and two.
I would
one and
say
two
that's
are
more of a 2A, 2B.
1 and 2 are Ty Warren and Colston Loveland by a wide fucking margin, and then after that, you have done whatever you fucking want.
Take your Michigan hat off. Take your Michigan.
It's not even having a Michigan hat on.
One is Tyler Warren. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, like, Tyler Warren, I put down, he can be a feature tight end. 50-50 balls. He's a guy that you just say, fuck it, he's over there somewhere, and just throw it up to him, and he's going to come down with it, makes clutch catches. He knows how to use his body. He'll block. And I put Mr. Dependable. Like, you know, if you have a 3rd and 10 and you need somebody to get a first down, just throw it in the direction that he's sending his route to. And
he's the opposite of Mark Andrews.
Yeah, It depends on what game.
Yeah.
So Tyler Warren is probably the best tight end prospect we've seen in a while. I think he's better than Bowers. I think he's better than Pitts. So I'm okay with that.
Not better than Bowers.
I don't know about that.
I think he can play more in line than Bowers can.
Yeah, I think he's.
Well, Bowers is like that the Loveland, the Terrence Ferguson. He's like more of that receiving tight end, the flex tight end.
So whatever. I can't in good faith argue that Colston Loveland is better than Tyler Warren. Like, I'm fine, whatever. As much of a Michigan homer as I want to be, like, I can't do that. The fact that you don't have Loveland too is just like throws doubt on every other one of the lists you've ever made. That is just horrific miscarriage of justice.
But when you see, I'm telling you, I mean,
when you see Colston Loveland is just,
I see a wide receiver. I see a big-bodied wide receiver. I don't see a prototypical tight end.
I don't understand how you can. Did you watch any Michigan? I mean, you're talking about a run-first team. Yeah, you watched him, and they run the ball very well with him on the field because he blocks. Like, he's very good at it.
Half the time he lines up at the bottom of the numbers.
Yeah, and then motions in and fucking cracks somebody, and then, they gain a bunch of yards because he's good at his job. I'm completely baffled by, if you said, I don't know, fucking Colston Loveland 3 because fuck Drew, I would have respected that more than you actually having, like, trying to have real reasons for it.
Only time's going to tell. You're going to be really upset again. That's all I can tell you. You're going to be really upset again.
I don't understand how you can have him as your third tight end. That's just.
I just told you why, and I told you it was a.
But it's wrong.
Him and
Like
Taylor.
I could say a bunch of shit that fucking Davis Warren is the best quarterback in college football right now. Like I said that out loud. I can come up with a bunch of dumb reasons for it. It doesn't make it right.
Are you still crying? It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
No,
my list is not gonna affect your life. You're gonna be okay.
Honestly, I'm gonna be up tonight thinking about holy shit.
Good.
Actually, think
you know what you should be doing when you're up and you're thinking about that. You should try to figure out how to change your background.
I tried that and then I broke the whole stream. I broke the whole stream. Will got really mad that I touched things that I'm not allowed to touch. So
Yeah,
I considered
like a fucking old retard.
Well, I mean, you gave me the authority to press buttons. That was a mistake on your part.
No, you have access to the buttons. I didn't tell you to press them.
Well, I mean, they're there. Why wouldn't I press them?
You're like a grown-ass child.
Yeah, I mean, Will called me an old man, but it's the exact
Like I
opposite.
said before the stream began, Dee from Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, just ooh, shiny. I touched that. I considered muting you after you put Colson Loveland at 3. That was just and I think you have Fannin too high because they didn't, Bowling Green doesn't play anybody, and I think that it made him look better than he actually.
34.
Yeah, I probably would have put him like 7 or 8 personally, but again, not like a huge deal. Just again, I don't think he played any real competition, so I'm not gonna. I don't think he's as good.
Would you say that about Isaiah Likely though?
I don't know if Isaiah Likely is as good outside of Baltimore as he is in Baltimore though too. So I think
saying,
that
like theoretically, like he played for Coastal Carolina, you could compare competition.
Yeah, and I mean Isaiah Likely was a 4th round pick, so like I think he was drafted where he should have been. He was an athletic freak that had some potential and some upside, and then it turns out that he's really good at the scramble drill. And we have a quarterback who moves around in the pocket. So I think that it was just
that's not out of the question for him. This is a weird draft where you're like, there's a lot of solid tight ends in this draft, but the way that the other depths of positions of need that are more important to the game are going to fall in this draft, you're going to have really good tight ends pushed to the 4th, 5th, 6th round.
I just think like I look at somebody like Helm, who I would probably put above Fannin, and it's just because I think Helm fits more offenses than Fannin does. That's just me, but those are like minor critiques of your list. The only thing that I'm like offended by is that you have Loveland at 3rd. That's just
you should be. I want you to be offended.
I am, so I guess mission accomplished. But that's the most logical reason you've had so far for having Loveland 3. Yuri, what are your thoughts on the tight end? I know that you're probably pissed off at Loveland at 3 instead of 2 as well.
Yeah, I working from 1 to 10. I agree with Warren at 1. I mean, I feel like that's pretty sound. Like the body movement is there, the ability to create frame with Warren is there. Loveland 2. I don't think that's very debatable. Like I feel like it's 1, 2, and then you move on to the next group of tight ends. I don't.
Amen.
I hey, more power to you because my 3 is Mason Taylor, and I'm a huge fan of Mason Taylor. I think he's a lot like Zach Miller. If you guys remember the Eagles tight end, very athletic, can play.
Raiders tight end from back in the day.
Zach Miller,
Raiders,
Steelers. Yeah, Steelers guy.
No, you're thinking about Heath Miller.
No, you're thinking of Heath Miller.
I'm thinking of Heath Miller. You're right.
Yeah.
Zach Miller.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of Heath Miller.
86.
Yeah, no,
used to play for 86 used to play for the
Eagles.
Raiders.
Yep. Nope.
He did play
Eagles.
He played both. He played for the Raiders too. At the
Okay,
end.
well,
I remember him with
the
the Raiders.
Eagle, so,
I don't remember him being with the Eagles.
And then at 4, Arroyo. Like I think Arroyo has the body fluidity and the movement skills that you need as a tight end to work downfield. I don't know about the inline capability, but as like a slot, think he can do it at the next level pretty easily. Number 5, I'm gonna go Terrence Ferguson. To Drew's point, I think he can play a little more in line because he has the frame, and the frame is there to build upon. At number 6, I'm gonna go a little aggressive. Is Jackson Halls from Georgia Tech? Hell of a run blocker. I think this is like the typical like Boyle fucking who's the guy that Seattle has that's their like key run blocker right now at tight end.
Oh my God.
Fuck.
Where's like 87 or so? I know exactly what you're talking about. I cannot think of his fucking name.
I can't think of him, but I think like
never touches the ball, but just fucking blocks everybody.
Yeah, I can't think of the name because I can't, but I think he's going to kick ass to the next level. I think he's going to be a huge run blocking factor, especially in the too high era where we're condensing boxes and we need tight ends that can block. And I think Halls will be a huge factor in that.
Can I tell you on that? So I love him too, and like he would have 100% been in my top 10. Like some of his plays when he's dynamic with the floor. He's another guy that'll run you the fuck over, and he's very aggressive. But I looked up more on him, and his drop rate is insanely high, and that's the only reason I didn't have him in my top 10. But as a run blocker and like what he can do when he gets the ball in his hands,
Didn't he have a backup quarterback for a lot of the year?
Like, yeah, but it was like an insane, like 12 or 13% drop percentage. It was like crazy high.
And so I think we had this argument about wide receivers where I'm like, yeah, 13 is really high. Is it really more like 6 though? Like how much of it is actually on him?
It could have been. But I was just explaining, like, because Jackson Halls was like, for Yuri to put him there, like, not a lot of people know who Jackson Halls is, and he's a stud. I really like him too, but that was the only reason I didn't have him in my top 10. But I do like him.
Yeah, so I outweigh his run blocking ability more than some of the tight ends I'm about to put behind him that are 1,000% better receivers.
Yuri has a type when it comes to tight ends too. So
I do.
Yeah.
6'6", curly hair, and then after him, I'll throw in Fanine. I think Fanine to Grant's point is a lot. He is a lot like Likely. The pure separation stats might not be there, but I think he can work. I think the fluidity is there in his route running. I think that while he may not run downfield, 0 to 40 as quick as you'd like, there are a lot of things alike between the hashes with him. And then what do we have here? Number 7?
Yeah.
Number 7. I'm going to go. Number 7 is Mitchell Evans from Notre Dame. I thought he took some fucking shots. He reminds me a lot of Cade Otton, where he would eat a lot of hits. I think
people forget Baker Mayfield tried to kill Cade Otton, and that
game was disgusting. That game was disgusting.
The game was totally out of hand, and he was just throwing hospital balls to Cade Otton for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and he caught him. He caught him.
Yeah, caught him and got up and was just like, nothing happened. It was fucking
and then rounding out 8 is Leachy. I think Leachy, he's another, with a lot of the tight end position, my most valued trait is fluidity. Like, how do you work against linebackers? And we saw him in the not the Senior Bowl, the other one, the
Shrine
Bowl. Yeah, and he worked a lot of one-on-ones, very fluid, and that made me get higher on him. And then you go back and you see the ability to work downfield, work linebackers, and also this past year was like his first year getting more than 20 targets. So I like drafting prospects where you don't know what you can get with them. You know that their best football might be ahead. So I'm a big fan of him. And then the last 2, Gadsden from Syracuse. I'm with Grant. I think he works a lot like a receiver. And then the last one I'm going to toss in there is good old Bryson Nesbitt. He is
all right. Tar Heel.
He's very stiff, but he is a big body. He does win contested catches a lot, and I think he can be somewhere in the frame of if you do what the Ravens did with Kolar, and you put him on a weight program, put on some weight. I need you to be a blocker. I think he could do that. And the contested catch ability is there. And yeah,
if he didn't have the red zone upside and the frame, I would have killed you for adding him to that list. But it's the only reason I'm not arguing with it.
He's 6 foot. He's 6'6", and he's made a lot of catches with May and the disgusting quarterback group we had last year. My honorable mention is Helm from Texas. I just the testing numbers were not there with him, and it made me get very sad.
Yeah, so I like Helm just because, and it might have been in Texas' offense, what Sarkisian made him do, but I think that he's got some NFL potential. I still am upset that Grant has Loveland 3. Just
Let's
mind-blowing.
just take the fact that you would have fucking hammered me if I put Bryson Nesbitt in my top 10, but you were okay
because
with Yuri. He's got red zone potential.
If your point was that he's a big body and can make contested catches and has that frame, I would have let it go because that's
They're
the only
tight
thing I
ends.
like
They're
about
all big bodies.
Okay,
That's
but
not true.
6'6" is not an average tight end. That's a big tight end. Like he is on the bigger side. He has a skill set that I can get behind liking. So, I wouldn't have killed you for it. I honestly, the Loveland 3 is just like the worst thing you've ever said.
You said a lot of you up for days and years.
You said Jerry Jones was a better GM than EDC, and that was
top
less
5.
offensive.
You see what he's doing right now? He's working out a hell of a trade to get rid of Dak Prescott.
Yeah, except for
he is dealing right now.
See? Okay, so Kirk Cousins is in Ohio near Cleveland. Whatever they saw him at a Chipotle. He orders a fucking salad from Chipotle, and nobody's talking about it.
Then he took pictures in another restaurant.
Right,
the same clothes.
Who the fuck goes to Chipotle?
Why are you going? How many times you eaten, buddy?
But why is he ordering a fucking salad from?
Ain't nothing like a good salad
from Chipotle. Like what are you doing?
His wife picks out his outfits.
I said there ain't nothing like a good salad.
Chipotle has like 2 or 3 salmonella outbreaks every year, and they're always the lettuce.
But again,
he goes in there, he's like, I'll take a bowl of that salmonella lettuce. Yeah. What are you doing, man?
This may come as a shock. I'm not a huge salad guy. I like chicken Caesar salads, but that might
hold
be
the lettuce.
Yeah, that might be some breaking news here. But like Chipotle is the last place I would think of to go to be like, oh yeah, I really want a fucking salad. I'm gonna go to Chipotle.
I don't understand people who get lettuce at Chipotle.
I think I get lettuce on my bowls. So I don't know if I can talk. I think I do.
It looks gross, and we know for a fact that it gives people like disgusting.
Kirk Cousins also fucking, like grilled steak inside of tinfoil on his fucking grill. So like there's a lot wrong with him food wise, but I think going to Chipotle for a salad might be the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah,
like that's just like a different level of psychopath. Jerry Jones, I just don't know what the fuck that man's doing. Like the Dak Prescott rumors. Okay, so I think paying Dak Prescott.
You can say that either way. I mean, like, what are the Browns fucking doing? You got
but the Browns. We know the Browns are retarded. But we know the Browns are retarded. Like them doing something dumb at the quarterback position is not shocking to me at all. The Cowboys being like, I'm going to take Deshaun Watson and give you Dak Prescott is fucking crazy.
Do you think that was the deal? Is that what the deal was?
That's got to be that. There's no way that the Browns can make that work unless they get rid of Deshaun Watson.
They are fucking stupid.
But how are they going to have Dak Prescott making whatever the fuck he makes? Deshaun Watson
50 or 60 this year.
But I don't know with a trade. I don't know how that works out. So maybe let's say it's 30. I don't know. They're going to be taking on a huge fucking cap hit for him, and there is no way in hell that you carry Dak Prescott at whatever number you got to take him at, Deshaun Watson and Myles Garrett on the same roster, and field a full football team. Like I don't know how that mathematically works. I don't think it's possible. And so like Browns doing dumb shit doesn't shock me. Like if you told me the Browns are trying to, I don't know, give Tom Brady $100 million guaranteed a year, like wouldn't shock me. I don't care. Or they're going to try to sign Peyton Manning out of the fucking booth and put him under center. Like I wouldn't even bat an eye at that. The fucking Cowboys wanting Deshaun Watson or taking back Deshaun Watson to get rid of Dak Prescott would be one of the dumbest fucking things Jerry Jones has ever done. And he's done a lot of stupid fucking things.
We could trade him Cooper Rush.
Yeah, I like mind-blowing how dumb Jerry Jones is. And you confidently said on air that he was better than EDC. I mean, there were some names that you threw out there.
We do remember that. We do remember that, Grant.
Yeah. I mean, Grant angrily told me that Chris Greer, Ryan Poles, and Jerry Jones were better GMs.
King Poles? Are you kidding me?
Way better.
King Poles is a fucking moron. He traded the 33rd overall pick for Chase Claypool.
I would have done it at that time.
Nope.
Why? I mean, I get why you would do it because you think Colson Loveland is, the third best tight end in the draft. Like you have now a documented history of dumb takes, but like who the fuck would want Chase Claypool at that point? for the
You
33rd
don't
overall
have
pick.
any takes besides homer takes, so it's good to.
How is saying Chase Claypool sucks a homer take? He's not good at football. He's not even in the
We found
NFL
out he
anymore.
sucked afterwards. He didn't have a bad.
He
career
sucked
with the
before
Steelers.
it too. He had one good year. He had one good year. He posted that video of him fucking crying about Dwayne Haskins, like paused his reaction and then played some sad song and like cried about Dwayne Haskins. That guy fucking sucks at football. Who the fuck would want him? Let alone a second round pick for him. It's fucking wild. And they had the Ravens second round pick when they made that trade, so they could have traded like the 60th overall pick, but he traded the fucking 33rd overall pick. And you think that guy's a good fucking GM?
In the Cowboys' defense, other than if they don't trade away Dak, I like most of their moves this offseason.
They haven't extended Micah Parsons, which is a mistake. You have to keep that. That guy's the heart and soul of your defense. You can't just like let him be pissed off and let him go.
Well, I agree with that, but
they're gonna break the
trade,
bank and pay him last minute. This is their MO. This is just like the Niners. They do the same thing. They wait until the market becomes untenable, and then they pay him way more than they need to.
Jake, if your argument,
Brandon Cooks going back to New Orleans?
So yeah, he did. Yes, he did. I did see that.
It was in New Orleans. I knew he was going back somewhere. I can remember where it was.
They're gonna take Luther Burden or like Golden 12.
Well, and so I think that if they're going to trade Dak to the Browns, it's because they want Shador. So they're going to take the second overall pick back and take Deion's kid, which is just idiotic. Like,
no, I don't. I think that's the right move
to take Shador.
Yeah, I think resetting for them to reset at quarterback market wise. I think that's. I mean, like, are they
right? But you're resetting with a shitty prospect, or not a shitty prospect, but not a guy that you want to take second overall. You're way reaching on him at that point. And so like that would be why I would think it was crazy is that you're getting this amazing asset back from the Browns, the second overall pick, and instead of, I don't know, trading down, doing the right thing with it, like you're then taking Shador Sanders is a fucking wild move.
If Ward is there though, what do you think?
If they took Cam Ward, that's a whole different story. Yeah, then you're resetting with a quarterback prospect you can build around. Then I'd be on board with that. But can the Titans pass on Cam Ward?
Yes, I think they should.
But who would they take? Abdul Carter?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean he's the best player in the draft.
He is, but I don't know how Tennessee can make the moves they've made recently and then pass on Cam Ward. I feel like that's a fucking wild move on their part.
I mean, you can still take it.
Get Arch Manning or whoever the fuck for the next draft.
Yeah, but I mean, is Arch Manning's grandpa going to step in and be like, "Oh, you got to fucking trade Arch. He doesn't want to play for the Titans." Blah blah blah. You know, same shit he pulled with Eli. Like, I don't know if he can.
The Titans might be an attractive landing spot for a quarterback that season because I think their stadium should be ready then, right? It should be the first season that's up.
I mean, Ryan Tannehill's still available, and they haven't had success since he left. So many people would say that. Yeah, many people would say that Ryan Tannehill made that franchise. Made Derrick.
One person
made Derrick Henry.
I really don't.
I just don't know how they can get away with passing on Cam Ward if that's their choice.
Still amazing to me that fucking Dan Orlovsky went on live TV and said Ryan Tannehill made Derrick Henry. That was fucking hilarious to see.
He
stole a Thomas take. No, Dan Orlovsky repeated a Thomas take like 2 months after Thomas said that. I swear to God.
I had no idea Dan Orlovsky. I mean,
Dan Orlovsky said that with a straight face.
Dan Orlovsky tweeted like, "Do you have to shower every day, and how often do you clean your towels?" So I don't really, put a lot of weight into what Dan Orlovsky says.
He eats a hot dog without a bun. Like
that's right. He orders an extra large glizzy minus the bun, extra Miracle Whip.
Dan Orlovsky is the most fascinating human being alive, and the fact that he's where he is today, that people trust what he says and think that he's worth paying. I don't know how he got there. I mean, your career highlight is running out of the back of the end zone football wise, and still somehow people trust his football opinion. It is bananas to me. I don't get it.
Usually the bad football players wind up being decent coaches or analysts, and the good football players
because the good football players can't speak to common folk like us. They're too smart. That's why Tom Brady's terrible in the booth, is that
bad players end up becoming fitness influencers on social media.
Yeah,
Ashton, what was his name? The dude from Alcorn State.
Is that actually him?
Yeah.
The Ashton Hall that we caught is
not
that
the one.
guy
Not that one. 2010.
No. Can somebody explain to me why he rubs bananas on his face? I don't get that.
The potassium. You gotta. I don't know.
I thought it was some kind of
Probably
like
better
racism
way to
joke.
go about that.
I thought it was some kind of racist shit with that, and I was like, I don't get it at all. And then people are like, oh yeah, it does this shit for your skin. I'm like, who the fuck would peel a banana and rub it on their face? Also, he doesn't have any money
better
from
than
that.
eating it. It's better than eating it.
Well, I mean,
Disgusting.
I like bananas, not eating them in the shape that they come in, but if you like ground them up or put them on like a peanut butter sandwich, they're fine. But that whole I don't get that whole morning routine thing. Why the fuck is he taping his mouth shut while he's sleeping? Why the fuck
that actually is like a somewhat normal thing. That part of it, that's like the only thing in the entire video that's somewhat normal.
What is this blue magic water that he has? Is it like meth in it or something?
Saratoga water. That's just a specific brand of like it's still water, but it's
sparkling water
spring,
or whatever.
spring water, whatever. Yeah. But
why are you doing push-ups on your porch at 4 o'clock?
I don't know why he specifically only uses that water. I don't know.
He was twerking on his porch at 4 a.m. That was.
Yeah, he's just again, like you dip your face in ice water. What does that do for you? Like you've been awake for
dressed,
while fully dressed, and then you have we got 10,000. We got to push that to 20, bro. What the fuck are you even talking about?
Also, never wear socks.
Yeah, like what's your beef with socks, pal?
Yeah.
Why do you say thank you every time somebody gives you something? Like it's annoying. Like why are you filming yourself saying thank you? I get thanking people for doing things for you. Like that's fine. It's being a normal person, but why do you have to make sure it's on the edited video? Like everybody thinks you're a douchebag anyway, so it's not like you're people are gonna be like, oh, I thought he was a really big douchebag, but he said thank you, so it's fine now. It just doesn't make sense to me. That there are memes that show up online. I just don't understand that one at all. Just totally. I've watched that video like 300 times. I just don't get it. The video of him like trying to run with a truck, like or a Ferrari or something too. Like you're not that fast. You're a human. Like why are you doing this? It's like filmed from a weird angle. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand who the audience is for those videos.
Yeah, it just doesn't. The videos making fun of that are way funnier than the video itself too. I don't know.
Who? I mean, I think apparently he has a bunch of followers, but like,
why? Yeah, right. Like, why?
What
does he have?
What are they tuning in for? I don't really understand.
Why do all his doors have like fucking James Bond villain codes on them? Like, where did this money come from? Why is he rich in the first place?
Right.
I don't know, man. Just fucking blows my mind. Listens to like Jesus quotes at 4:30 in the morning. What is he writing in his fucking diary? Like doesn't show what he's writing in there. It just shows that he's writing in a diary. Does he even know how to write? I don't know. Just whole fucking thing, man. Whole thing blows my mind. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hold on. Before we go, I don't want to get harassed online. Tune into the Fonz golf tournament. It's the Masters week. It's video game stuff, so Will's gonna call me like a gay nerd for saying this, but yeah. So PGA Tour 2K25, big tournament coming up. Check out the Fonz, great league. Memes, you can leave me the fuck alone now. Kyle, sneakers, all the assholes are gonna be up my ass about it. Don the jeweler is in it.
Just to cap off that last subject, I am a false prophet. God is a superstition. So that's going to do it for this week's installment. We'll be back to discuss this, that, and the other. If you don't know that movie, go fucking watch it. But meanwhile, it's time for me to die.
See ya! Zone 32.